Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. I thought we'd try something a little different and get back to our roots. It is a real important time for humanity right now. A lot of changes happening on the planet, in the solar system, and indeed throughout the entire galaxy. Science is measuring some of these changes, but how can you prepare for what's going? How can you be ready? You need information. You need the correct information. You need information that's going to be relevant to you and your life. And learning to connect to your guides, angels, and ascended masters and other beings that you want to work with is really important at this time. All of the information that you have about your life, most of what you think, feel, and believe about yourself is based on who you've been told to believe you're supposed to be. That's just the reality. Everything you think you know about yourself is what you've been taught to believe. At least 90% of it, anyway. Most of what you know comes from this world and the things that humans have learned and understood based on our experiences. But there is a realm of information that is not available through conventional means. That information comes from what I call your guides, your angels, ascended masters, loved ones, others that you can connect with. Everyone can learn to connect to their guides. Everyone can learn to connect to their angels. Everyone can learn to connect to the ascended masters. Everyone can learn to connect to God and other various deities, if you so choose. There are simple things that you must learn in order to be able to hear. One of the functions of connecting to your guides and angels is a function called clairvoyance, which means clear seeing, which means you can see without your eyes. Another function you need to develop in order to connect to guides and angels is clairaudience, which means clear hearing. Which is having a clear feeling about what is occurring and the information you might be getting. You can use clairsentience when you're trying to assess a situation you're in. You can get a good feeling about things that are going on, so you can assess people very differently from clairsentience than you can from what you remember, what you know. And then there's claircognizance, which means clear knowing. And that's how you can know things without any immediate way of having that information available to you from the physical world. How do you get access to that information? Well, first you have to learn how to get your mind and your body out of your way, because your mind and everything you think and feel and believe is mostly what you've been taught to think and feel and believe. And that can disconnect you from hearing the voices of your guides and your angels, your loved ones. There's a process you need to go through to develop clear hearing, clear seeing, clear feeling, and clear knowing. There are things you have to practice to develop those spiritual senses, in the same way that you learn to develop your 5 physical senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and hearing. You were exposed to this environment, and you were bombarded with information and stimuli from the environment that formed patterns of beliefs and ideas in your mind. That became the basis for the information and the personality that you believe yourself to be today. But all that information came from the 5 physical senses, which most people only use. The vast majority of humans only exist through the 5 physical senses and are mostly cut off from their spiritual information. Your other senses are not developed. That's not always the case. But there are very unique individuals in the world that are, call them psychics, you call them mediums, you can call them highly sensitive individuals that have these other senses that are somewhat functional. More often than not, they're random. They'll get a hunch or a feeling sometimes, but they don't really know why or where it came from. And what you need is a system that teaches you how to develop those non-physical senses. Remember, most of what you think you know has come only from the world of humanity and this physical world. But there's an invisible world in which you actually live most of your life. You're just not aware you do. The invisible world where you have your thoughts, your memories, your emotions that are invisible to the rest of the world. And that's just the mental realm. There's also the spiritual realm, the realm where the different beings that are at a different state of consciousness than you are exist. And you can learn to tune into them if you have a proper system in place that allows you to do that. Learning to activate or turn back on your spiritual senses, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance, requires that you do different things with your body, you do different things with your mind, and you do different things with your awareness. You learn to pull your attention away from the world, because if you want to get information that's not available in the world, then you have to shift your attention from the world to somewhere else other than what you know, somewhere else other than what you remember. And once you have that system, you can begin to perceive different information. Now, let me share a few examples of individuals that actively practiced going into this other realm. Nikola Tesla, a well-known scientist whose work and divinations still affect us today. Alternating current exists because of Nikola Tesla. And he often said he would go into sleep or dreamlike states, and he would receive well-defined plans and ideas. Thomas Edison, in his rumination about the electric light bulb, was in a reposed, relaxed state, what some psychologists would call the alpha state, neurologists would call the alpha state. And he got the idea that he could use carbon instead of all the 600, 800 other things that he had tried to use to build a light bulb. Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Leonardo da Vinci, Joan of Arc, many others that have gotten information from a very different place than is available to you through the five-sensory world. And little did they know it, they had a system by which they used to gain that information. Joan of Arc, for example, would close her eyes almost in prayer, and in that state she could receive guidance from God. That would tell her, God would tell her, this is what you need to do with your military in order to fend off the British. And so she instructed the military, and of course we know the story, the British were defeated, and Joan of Arc, of course, was considered a hero in France in many respects. But she had this system where she could access that communication directly from God. There are others that could be noted throughout history that have gained information and inspiration because they had a system for shifting their awareness from what they know to being open and receptive to what they don't know. And it's really important you understand that most people only live from their five-sensory body and the information that you know from this world. And so you can only know what you know from what you know. You have to step outside of what you know to know or acquire access to information you don't know. And with the right system, you can quite easily and readily activate these other spiritual senses that let you comprehend and apprehend the invisible world. Now, when I was asked to share this information today, my guardian angel John has said to me, it's very important to keep it as simple as possible, that there's two sides to your consciousness. There's the mental and physical side, which is of the world. And then there's the spiritual and soul side, which is the invisible world, the realm of the angels, the guardian angels, divine entities, God, many others. So there's a physical world and a mental world, and there's an awareness world, your soul, and a spiritual world, a realm of information that can be accessed if you have the right process in place for beginning to develop that. So what is it that all of these people that I've mentioned so far, Nikola Tesla, Joan of Arc, Henry Ford, what do they all have in common? They took time every day to go into a relaxed or reposed state. And they would focus on or contemplate the problem they were dealing with, and a solution would come to them. Didn't always come, but the ones that they needed came. And some of their innovations and creations are are still benefiting humanity to this day. Transportation in the form of the automobile has evolved tremendously. Now we're into rocket ships. But the basic idea of transportation, in terms of Henry Ford, precipitated the idea and the designs that came to his consciousness. He began to understand and apply certain principles. And without exception, every great innovator or creator that's ever walked the face of this earth has received that information outside of what is commonly understood by the people. Many of the people that discover this other realm of information have often been vilified and demonized, and sometimes even treated as evil and burned at a stake in the cases of witches who would receive guidance, inspiration on how to apply a certain potion to a certain disease or illness and cure it. And the vast majority of people fear what they do not understand. I want to tell you that the angelic realm, the realm of the divine, the ascended masters, is nothing to be feared. And every great mystic, and I'll put Jesus in that category, along with John the Baptist, along with Buddha, Babaji, Zarathustra, Joan of Arc, many others that have communed with this other level of consciousness that you have access to when you learn to develop the system of how to gain access to that realm. It's there. The door is inside you. You just have to know how to open it. You know, the reason this channel was created was to bring people to this awareness that there is another realm of information available to you. So you don't have to keep running around in the gerbil wheel of what you remember all the time, because most people are just repeating the same stuff on a different day because they're stuck in their mind trying to create something new out of what you already know. So you need to gain access to information that you don't know to change your life, because what you know will only give you more of what you know. In learning to connect to my guides and angels, I've completely changed my life in the last 7 years, completely. And I learned a system. I was given a system by the ascended masters, by my guardian angels, by other archangels that gave me specific information that I took and put down into a system that allowed people, and many hundreds of people over the last 7 years, that have come to the program and now can connect actively with their guides, their angels, ascended masters, loved ones, yes, even loved ones. Because your loved ones, although they may not be in a physical body, if they've transitioned from matter to consciousness, they can still be accessed if you know how to shift your awareness and your perception from the physical dimension to the non-physical dimensions, which you live in, by the way. There's a part of you that evaluates your thoughts. There's a part of you that evaluates what you see and hear with your eyes. That part of you that evaluates is non-physical. The you that is the awareness, hearing these words right now, is the non-physical component, your soul. And that part of you has the ability to gain access not only to what you have in this physical world, but you also have the ability, once you know how to shift your awareness from the physical perceptual apparatus to the non-physical realms of information, where, like Jesus spoke to God, he spoke to God. He spoke to Elijah. He spoke to other beings that were not in physical form. They communed with him. He learned to shift his awareness from matter, time, and space to energy and consciousness. And he taught many hundreds of people to do the same thing, how to meditate, how to go into a very different state of perception than the 5 physical senses will allow you to. And your guides and your angels, your loved ones, will assist you and work with you if you learn to become open and receptive to receiving that guidance information. Just the same way as you came into this world and you're open and receptive to the things of this world, to what your mother said, to what your father said, your teachers, your friends, your television, your radio. You were open to all that, and you received a bunch of information, and you became a certain personality. And the same principle applies. You can learn to shift your awareness from matter and the 5 sensory body to awareness and the senses of your consciousness, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. You can begin to see, hear, feel, and know information and commune with different beings that are not in a physical state. So your loved ones are in a non-physical state. They just don't exist in a physical body. Same with many of the angels, many of the archangels, God, many of the ascended masters now no longer live in a physical body, but they still exist in consciousness. You just have to learn how to shift your perceptual apparatus from the body self to these other senses that you have available to you. So you possess the body and you possess 5 senses of the body, but you also have access to your awareness and your ability to be aware of these other senses that you have that can be developed fairly effectively and fairly easily over a relatively short period of time, considering it probably took you, 5 to 10, maybe even 15 years just to learn the basics of how to take care of yourself. Some people never learn that. But it took a certain period of time for you to acquire the skill to live or survive in this world the way you are right now. And it may be good and it may not be so good. And if you get more information and more knowledge about this world, you can change the way you're surviving in this world. But what if you could get access to information that would tell you exactly what you need to know and do at any point of time and space? What if you could get access to that information right now? If you knew as easily as you know how to get up and get out of bed and put your clothes on and go out the door to work, that you could learn a system that would allow you to see, to hear, to feel, to know, and receive guidance and information from God, from Jesus, from Buddha, from your loved ones, from the ascended masters, from the various angels and archangels and other deities that many people believe exist. They do not live in the physical dimension, so you cannot perceive them with physical senses. Although there are some ultra-sensitive individuals who have highly empathic individuals who have learned to perceive and sense and feel the energy and presence of divine beings, angels, and other such consciousnesses around them. So we are here for 2 things. 1, empowering people to gain access to information that will let you improve your life in a way that you haven't been able to improve your life because you've been stuck only with the information you've been given from the world around you. And with only that information, you can only create mild variations in what you're going to be or do. And what you want to learn to do is shift your awareness from matter to spirit, from the physical dimension to the non-physical dimensions, where you can gain access to information that's not available to this world. Virtually every new human innovative idea came from an invisible world. It didn't come from this world. It came from another space. Well, I was just lying there and all of a sudden I got this idea. Nikola Tesla got the fully defined plans for his power generator that still runs this day in Niagara Falls. And that came down into his mind, and clear schematics in great detail. And he said, I just wrote it all down. It was just in my head. I just wrote it all down. Imagine getting access to that realm of information. Joan of Arc actively communed with God. Jesus actively communed with God before he united in oneness with the divine. Yogananda did the same thing. Many of the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, many of the different spiritual entities that move in and out of this dimension commune with each other. They commune with the divine. They commune with others. And it's something that you can learn to do. And you need to learn to do it if you want to begin to gain a different type of life than you're living. Most of the choices you're making aren't based on your own free will. Many of the choices you're making are based on the influences that have been provided to you by the environment. Many of you think you're going out to these restaurants and eating fast food because you like it. But you've been conditioned to believe that it's going to be a certain way for you. And if you do not know how to separate yourself from your conditioning, you're stuck in your personality. And it can be very uncomfortable when you are, in reality, are a limitless potential of incredible goodness. That's what you are. That's your true essence. Is you are an individual with unlimited creative potential. When you learn how to access that, but if you're stuck in what you only know, then you're bound to a very small set of possibilities for yourself, unless you learn how to extend the capacity of your mind to consider other possibilities, which you can do. There's wonderful teachers. I'm told there's many angels and archangels that have come into flesh right now, that have come in as reincarnated individuals as well. Aristotle, Plato, many others that are back on this planet now in different forms that do in fact have come back for the purpose of disseminating that information. You can find individuals like that and learn from them and expand your mind here too in this physical dimension. Whether it's in this dimension or gaining access to the spiritual realms where you can connect to your guides, your angels, and loved ones and ascended masters, you can gain information from that realm too, directly inside yourself. And they'll have ways of influencing events and circumstances around you when you start to connect them, because they'll get you to look at things and talk to people you might never have talked to before. Once you start to open up to the influence of your guides and angels, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, the second thing that this whole channel is for is humanity is at a very critical juncture in consciousness. And collectively speaking, humanity has not realized that we're affecting what is occurring. And there's two quantifiable energies that determine all human behaviors. Two quantifiable energies. You can also say that these energies are emotions. These two quantifiable energies determine everything that's happening in the human realm today. And the first of those energies is love. Love as an emotion, love as an energy, causes very precise and specific functions and behavior. And the other energy is fear. And fear causes very precise and specific behaviors. And most people are stuck in the polarity of those two in their mind and body. Their conceptions of love, their conceptions of fear. But love or fear cause very different actions, words, and behaviors through everybody. No human event can occur without an emotion behind it. And that emotion falls in the spectrum of either love or fear, or somewhere along that spectrum at various degrees, because fear has different shades of irritation, frustration, anger, rage, violence, aggression. Love has different expressions, contentedness, peace, playfulness, happiness, joy, bliss. Each has its spectrum, and humanity right now, I'm told, is in a 60-40 split between fear and love. In other words, human collective unconsciousness is currently operating at about 60% fear and 40% love. Now, the functions of fear and the functions of love are very exacting and precise. And they're operating in your life right now, whether you believe it or not. If you're listening, whether you believe it or not, love and fear are always operating in your life in every single moment. In every moment, you could ask yourself what word you spoke, what action you take, does it originate from love or fear? It'd be very easy for you to make that discernment. And now humanity at a 60-40 split, where 60% of our activity and behavior is generated from fear. Fear causes very different events, not only in our behavior, in our societies, in our social structure, in our political structure. It's also affecting other spectrums of energy that you're not aware of. The planet, the sun, the other planets in the solar system, we interact with each other energetically. There's an energetic exchange that happens not only between you and everybody else on the planet, but you, humanity, and everything else in the solar system. We collectively generate a specific quality of energy. And right now it's 60-40. So 60% of our energy is fear-based. People are asking, why are all these changes happening on the planet and things? Is it some sort of disaster cycle? People ask that question. And what nobody's looking at is the fact that human collective energy is 60% fearful. Fear is going to cause a very specific set of circumstances to unfold, not only in the weather patterns of the earth, but in what we do. A quick example is the mass culling of buffalo in the 18th century, where the population of buffalo went from 12 million down to, I think, a few thousand. That the emotion that drove humans to do that affected the whole ecosystem of North America. People don't realize just how significant that event was. But the behavior of people in any situation is either a function of love or a function of fear. And they cause very different effects in our experience of this physical dimension. And if you don't know how to distinguish your actions, if you're just acting blindly without thinking, am I coming from love or fear? Then you're going to be just contributing whatever you're contributing. Now, this human collective fear is orchestrating, look at these events that just happened recently, all throughout the United States, these massive storms. Very few people are evaluating the correlation between human collective emotion and the environment. And yet we can readily see that when a human is angry, they do certain things. When a human's excited, they do certain things. Behavior is orchestrated by the quality of emotion that we align ourselves with. And some people are disconnected from other possibilities of thought or behavior. Long story short, the existing paradigm of humanity is unsustainable. A 60% quantum conscious energy of fear in human collective unconsciousness will have ultimately detrimental effects, as it already is having on not only humanity as a species, but on the planet and on the solar system. The sun receives, responds, and reacts to what happens in the planetary system because the planets are the children of the sun. It's exactly what planets are. Planets are the children of the sun. And it reacts and responds to the energy of each accordingly. And if you're upset or somebody's upset around you, you feel a certain energy from it affects you. Now we have to collectively shift our energy away from that 60-40 split. And we got to get it back to about a 51-49 in favor of love within the next 19 and a half years. That's what I'm told by Master Jesus. We have until around May of 2044 to shift our energy. But he says there's going to be a tipping point in there that you will not be able to reverse the outcome. And so it becomes very important to learn how to shift our collective unconscious. And we do this. You can do this right now. You can learn to shift your energy. So there's two things that we've covered here so far. The first thing is you have a realm of information that's available to you from your guides, your angels, ascended masters, loved ones that you can learn to access. Because the information you have in your mind only allows you to do what's in your mind. If you can't look outside of what you know, you're only going to do what you know. And therefore, you're going to repeat the same things happening in your life again because you're only operating from what you know. Relationships, opportunities in your life, they'll all be based on your actions of what you know. When you can shift out of what you know and bring into the equation what you don't know, then you can create real significant change in your life. And learning to connect your guides and angels, you can get really clear, well-defined guidance on how you can begin to change your life from what you know to what you don't know. When your life starts to improve, you start to emanate a new energy. When you start to move yourself from the pain, the suffering, the fear, the anger, the rage, the guilt, the lower vibrational energies, when you start to shift yourself from low vibrational energies to higher vibrational energies, not only does your life start to change, but you begin to help humanity collectively, energetically shift from fear towards love. And you don't have to concern yourself with that part of it, but you do need to concern yourself with how much closer can I get to being a function of love today? How can I have my body be a product of my love? How can my mind be representative in terms of thoughts and beliefs and ideas of love? And what can I do to align to love? And what you need to do is get yourself involved in a system of learning that's going to allow you to gain that knowledge. Now, for 7 years, I've been guided by my angels, the ascended masters, and others in teaching this program that they gave us to teach 7 years ago, well, almost 7 years ago. And we've been teaching it, and it's been developing more thoroughly, more effectively, and people's lives are changed very rapidly just by learning to shift your awareness and your vibration from a low state to a high state, from a fear state to a love state, from a disease state to a healthy state, to a negative state to a positive state. And what's really remarkable is it is very, very, very simple. It's remarkably simple. And you watch how in real time you can shift your body, you can shift your mind, and you can shift your energy from fear to love really quickly in a short time frame, relatively speaking. Wherever you are hearing this right now, whatever your life is right now, it took you the sum total period of time of your life to get to where you are. What we've noticed in our masterclass series with the guidance of the Ascended Masters particularly is that people can shorten the transformation time from to as little as 1 or 2 years. You can undo almost all of the lower vibrational stuff that's gone on in your life. You can shift how you treat your body because you will learn a completely different way of how to eat high vibrational foods that will literally change the vitality of your body. You'll learn to connect to and utilize different types of thoughts. You'll raise the vibration of your mind from fear to love. Then you start to connect yourself to the source of information that this world cannot give you, your guides, your angels, your ascended masters. In the program, which is a very easy to follow system, there are 4 or 5 very key practices that you'll be engaged in that will let you shift willingly, deliberately, and intentionally shift your energy away from fear to love. And your body's going to go through changes. Your mind's going to go through changes. Your emotional energy will go through a change that you are orchestrating. Because you're going to learn to do things with your mind and body that nobody's ever taught you before. And they're very simple. They're not difficult. And once you start to experience those changes, the energy you start to give off will affect people around you. Even if you don't have to say a word, people, when you shift your energy, others around you will be shifted as well, whether they know it or not. Even the people somebody might call you on the phone after you've shifted from a fear state to a love state, and they call you and say, I don't know why, but I'm suddenly feeling really good. How are you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling great. You'll start to see symptoms in the environment that reflect the changes you're making in your mind and in your body. And the journey must be undertaken because it's not just for ourselves, it's for humanity as a whole. We affect matter, time, and space with our emotional energy. Everyone does. Every soul affects time, space, and matter with their emotional energy. If one does not know how to utilize their emotional energy correctly, then they could, in ignorance, cause unnecessary harm and damage to themselves and others without understanding how to use their emotional energy. To learn how to use your emotional energy, to learn how to shift and change your mind, you need guidance and assistance, which is available to you at all times. In any moment, when you have a proper system in place, you can learn to tune into and receive guidance and information from your guides, your angels, your loved ones, because your loved ones want to assist you too. They don't want to see you suffer, even if they're not in the physical dimension. They still know what's going on. They're still connected to you. Ascended masters, God, many other mystical deities that exist in different dimensions of perception. And once you start to gain access to information, ideas that are different than what you know, your life starts to change from the familiar life that you know into something brand new. You raise your vibration physically, mentally, and emotionally. And when you learn the system to do that, it's going to make it so much easier for you. It'll be so much easier for you in your life and for those that you love when you can learn to shift your energy deliberately and meticulously from fear to love. And you're not just doing it for yourself, you will affect others around you without even having to do it. The very change in your consciousness, in your being, in the way you are, people will take note. People will be different with you. But more importantly, you'll begin to feel a peace and a joy within yourself that is natural to who you are. And that's what's really important, is you begin to experience who you really are and not who the world has conditioned you to believe you are. Because there's a difference between who you believe you are and who you actually are. As a spiritual entity, you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You have these faculties that you use while you're in this dimension of time and space. You are a soul, a spirit of universal light. And when you begin to experience yourself as you really are, there's a certain wonder that once you begin to feel and know yourself as you truly are, you'll never want to go back down to the lower vibrational states of fear. Although in the beginning stages, you may find yourself going back and forth, but you will have a system in place that you'll be able to utilize in any moment to settle the mind, to settle the body, to open your conscience up to receive guidance and information that you don't have or cannot get from the world around you. You may be in an environment that can't give you anything that you actually need to know. You could be around people and events and circumstances that are restricted in terms of what it can provide for you, which means you have to gain access to realms of information that you can from within. You can connect to Jesus, you can connect to God, you can connect to Buddha, Yogananda, you can connect to your loved ones. If you know how to look within, seek and ye shall find. The answers do not lie in the world that you're seeking, they lie within you, and you may receive them and avail yourself of them. Or you may choose not to. But generally speaking, there's not one amongst you that does not have a desire to be happier than you are, or to experience life in a better way than you do. Virtually every human being has that natural inclination, because the very nature of every human being is that you are a product of divine love. That's as a soul, you are a product of divine love. But your mind and body are a product of this human world. And the two can often conflict. You can be in conflict with your mind and body because it's in conflict with who you are. If your mind and body are filled with anger and disappointment and frustration, it will be in conflict with who you are. You will feel conflicted inside because your true nature is love. And when you begin to experience yourself as you are, you will not want anything different. You'll want more of what you are. It is not that difficult once you understand the simple practices that you can easily learn in a few short weeks to begin your journey from fear back to love, or your true nature. You'll learn to do that by gaining instruction and practices on how to connect your guides and angels, to open up clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. These are all non-physical faculties that you have that are connected to your spiritual side, your soul, just as your 5 physical senses are connected to your physical world. They allow you to understand the physical world, but these other senses that for most people were never developed but remain dormant within you, these clear knowings, you might get a hunch about something or an inkling. You somehow know, you got a feeling, and you know there's an answer. And the only reason you don't know the answer, even though you know there is an answer, is because those faculties are not developed enough for you to tune into and hear the words, get the ideas, get the information that would give you the answer. Many of you are looking for the answer in your own minds. And you can literally learn to listen and hear your guides and angels say to you, you need to eat this food. You need to go to this place. You need to relax. You need to breathe. They will begin to give you very specific and precise instruction that will enable you to liberate yourself from the confines of your personality. And there are many, as we have said earlier, there are many angels that are in this flesh world as well. Many reincarnated souls, former civilizations, some of which were far, far surpassing this civilization in terms of technology and social achievement. But ultimately, the function of emotional energy, not properly understood, has led virtually every civilization to rise and fall under the weight of its own lower vibrational inclinations. But we invite you to come and join us. Come and join us in learning, growing, evolving, and connecting to your guides, your angels, ascended masters, and learning to heal your mind and heal your body. And remember, most importantly, you are love. Remembering that fundamental spiritual truth of what your true nature is. You are love. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about this system and you're really done with your suffering, then it is time. Now, you can click on the Linktree link in my TikTok bio and get directed to the Masterclass 101 Awakening, which begins June the 14th. It is a beginner's course in mediumship, where you will be introduced to the system I've been speaking of. That will allow you to reclaim natural, healthy, correct authority over your mind, your emotions, and your body in the simplest, easiest way possible, in an environment where you will feel supported and be interacting with other individuals that are on the same journey of awakening that you are. You did not come to this world to suffer. You came to this world to create. That is your natural function, is creation. The Linktree link is one way you can get there. You can see the Linktree link below most of the videos on my YouTube channel as well. Or you can go directly to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and under the courses section, choose Masterclass 101 Awakening. The course is $199 US for 3 whole weeks, where you'll be studying from Sunday till Friday, at least an hour every day for a 3-week period, where you'll be exposed to different practices and learnings over that period. And I'm going to say that this $199 is the last time we will be offering this price for this course. This is the last year that this price will be for this course. It will be going up. So take advantage of this now. Former or repeat students, we will always honor the repeat student rate. That will always be honored. But for new people that have never taken the course, $199, you are going to get so much more than you ever imagined you could for that price. It will be worth every penny. And you can go to the testimonials page on my website as well, and you'll see the hundreds of testimonials there of people whose lives have been profoundly changed by either booking a reading with me or taking our masterclass series. But particularly the masterclass series is a very intensive learning process. It is intense. It requires your commitment and your devotion, your dedication to your happiness, your willingness to say, I'm done with fear, I'm ready for love. In our 101 Masterclass Awakening, you will learn the foundation of how to connect to your guides and angels. And usually by week 2 or week 3, people are actually receiving guidance information from their angels, from their mothers, from their fathers, from their sisters, from their brothers, from ascended masters, from even God directly. Because you have to have a system of perception that's not based in the 5 sensory self, because the 5 senses of your body only let you perceive this world. I invite you, again, you've only got about 4 weeks, 3 weeks now, 3 weeks to sign up. And again, I encourage you, do not leave yourself suffering anymore. When you shift your energy, your whole world changes. And it'll change in a profound way. When John told me it was important to let this flow out this way, I was quite happy about that. But you're in a very, very unique time right now. We all are. And everybody's wondering, the sunspots, and you see these massive solar flares that would obliterate Earth that aren't becoming at the Earth. They're going in different directions. Why? It's because our consciousness still has enough love collectively that the sun is still protecting us. That's why the flares and the things don't hit the planet in the way that science is scratching your head and going, why hasn't this happened? Why does it keep going around the other way? We're very lucky. No, we're not lucky. There's still enough collective love in humanity that the sun still protects us. Keep that in mind. So when you learn to shift your energy, you're going to contribute to a greater set of possibilities for humanity as well. We do affect matter, time, and space, not just with the things we do physically, but with our consciousness, because everything we do with our bodies originates from our mind. Everything we do with our mind originates from our soul. from these other dimensions of information. Yeah. So I just want to leave you guys with that, and thank you so much. Here we go. Hi guys, good morning. Lauren is asking, what is one's shadow self? And does my shadow self have a message for me today to get out of this low vibration? You need to exercise your function of love towards your shadow self. A lot of people get uncomfortable feelings and they just want to put them away, or they want to find a way to suppress them chemically or otherwise. But what you need to do for your shadow self today is you need to sit with that lower vibrational energy. You need to sit with it like right now. Turn to it. This is what they're telling me to tell you to do. Turn to that lower vibrational feeling and communicate these words directly to it. I will not ignore you anymore, even if I do not understand you, because I'm willing to love you. Communicate those words to that lower vibrational state. I will not ignore you anymore, even if I do not understand you. I'm willing to love you. And watch what happens to the energy of that low vibrational state you're in right now, Lauren, and let us know in the comment section what happens for you. My screen just went dark. Not sure why my other screen's gone dark here. Okay, well, I don't know if you can still hear me on TikTok or not. I can't read the questions. I can't see the screen. It might be an internet connection thing. Okay. Hi, Dejana. I'm kind of stuck with my upcoming projects. Do my guides have any suggestions for me? Yeah, you need to heal the unstuck feeling. You need to correct the unstuck energy. The unstuck energy, you have to go inside, connect to the unstuck energy, and you need to shift it. Again, you'll learn how to do all that in the masterclass, right? You learn how to do all that in the masterclass. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on TikTok here. Hang on, guys. So I think my cellular device on TikTok is the screen's gone blank, so I don't know why that is, because I had a completely full battery this morning. And it still says it's 70%. So I don't know why the screen's gone blank. Maybe they've just shadow banned me. Shadow ban. Anyway, sign up for the masterclass. 101 Awakening starts June the 14th. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, or click on the Linktree link below any of my videos or on my TikTok channel, and you'll be able to indulge in it that way. Love is the law of low resistance. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. There we go. Done there. Scroll down here. Someone saying the classes are amazing. I've taken all three of them. I've taken all three. All of them 3 times. I feel like I feel etheric all the time. Someone else saying, and these have done all of what William is speaking about. I now speak with my guides and angels. I've changed my life from the master classes. It's very exciting. This is very exciting now to be in this world. That was from someone who was struggling, isolated, and in an angry and low vibrational state. Now she's free. Second time around of the classes, I will wholeheartedly recommend these classes. I have made major changes in my life that I could not have found elsewhere. Here's what is amazing. The lessons are channeled and clarified through William. You can hear the wisdom of the masters and various other. And it's really true. It blows my mind. It's like I'm a fly on the wall watching Jesus or Buddha or Yogananda or many others speak through me at a particular lesson, because different masters will come for different lessons, depending on that particular class and that particular course. And it's pretty amazing to hear the voice of these beings come through my head and come out through my body and watch people's lives being changed. It's really quite amazing. The price is very low. You're getting every day's attention and work. Yes, you are. The class helps you find your reason for being. It teaches you how to change your mindset to love and learn to transform your pain. Why are my hands trembling? Because you're feeling the energy of God moving through you right now. Because you're speaking the word of truth of your experience. And the truth can change your energy really fast. Thank you for sharing that, channeling that energy direct from the source. Thank you so much. Someone saying, I wish I had money for the masterclass. Ask for it right now. If you're wishing for it, ask for it. Like, really get clear. How would you feel if you had it? Danielle, will our dog soon overcome the diarrhea and vomiting? Yeah. Did you look up that organic pet store? Look up that organic pet store. Oh, I think I know what happened. Here, let me go like this. There we go. There we go. Pet Wellbeing, Daniela. This company's called Pet Wellbeing. It's a Canadian, petwellbeing.ca. They will have something for your dog or cat. Pet Wellbeing gave our furry friend, her last 2 years were really good quality years. It could have been really, really unpleasant. Pet Wellbeing. You need to, because things affect the body. Thoughts affect the mind. Acts affect the soul. Your dog needs certain things for its body to survive in its body. The soul of the dog is not attached one way or another, but you need that. 2 weeks, get the stuff you need. They'll tell you what your dog needs for the symptoms you're describing. But I'm not getting a channeled answer for that. I'm just being told to tell you that. Thank you, William. I assumed something was wrong with me. No, not at all. Again, when you start channeling higher vibrational energy, your body will shake. I remember the very first time I was exposed to the I am, and my whole body just vibrated, wouldn't stop. The teacher in the class actually had me get up to the front of the class, and I was shaking so hard, my body couldn't stop shaking. But I felt this bliss. I felt this because the bliss came, the vibration started right after I made the statement. I had this experience where I am the light, and my body would not stop shaking. And so he started bringing people up to me. And I remember the first girl he brought up to me, and I looked in her eyes, and I suddenly knew her pain. And I looked at her and I said, I know your pain. And she just burst into tears, and I just embraced her. And that went on for about 25 minutes, different people coming up, and I knew what they were feeling and what they were thinking, and I knew what their troubles were. And for 30 days, I lived in that state of knowing the people's hearts that way. Is really quite profound, quite amazing. Oh, you can say, yeah, I found out what it was on TikTok. It was for some reason my screen brightness automatically went low for some strange reason. I've only got 3% on my phone, so my phone is going to probably die in about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But again, sign up for Masterclass 101 Awakening. You got 3 weeks to do it, and don't waste another moment of your life. You're too valuable and too beautiful to let your life be the same stuff, different day. I want to wish you all much, much love. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts Your Soul, where I'm going to be channeling Archangel Michael on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.